is hard to believe
Sorry.
that's okay. It's hard to believe that we've actually been a part of Berry County since we opened our doors in December of 2013. And that seems just yesterday, but it's been a lot longer than that. It's been really a privilege to serve in Berry County. And through the time that we've been there, we've served over 1,000 children that have come through our doors. So I'll explain what that means when I say that we've served 1,000 children. We work very closely actually with the Family Support Center because they do the important work of training mandated reporters of child abuse. And it's through those trained mandated reporters and through concerned community members and through parents who make the reports of suspected sexual abuse or severe physical abuse. Those reports are made to law enforcement and CPS. And once they receive those, they give Safe Harbor a call. We are that safe place for the kids to come and share their story, to tell what has happened to them, while law enforcement and Child Protective Services and the prosecutor.
Lori, excuse me. Lori, I'm sorry. We're all having a hard time hearing you.
Okay.
I'm not sure why. It kind of goes in and out.
Is that any better?
A little bit, yeah. Let's try that.
Maybe I wasn't speaking loudly enough. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's better. Thank you.
Okay. It's kind of hard sometimes when you're sitting in the room by yourself talking to the computer to know how loud to talk.
Yeah.
So when we work with the children, the main purpose of Safe Harbor is to bring those important services together, law enforcement, CPS, and the prosecutor's office. Because without Safe Harbor, each one of those organizations would need to do their own investigation and talk to those children, which means that typically a child would have to share their story 5 times before going to court. So before testifying in court and doing the court process, they've already had to tell each one of those individual people. That's why we bring them together. But not only is it important that we bring those team members together, but that we have a place designed specifically for kids so that they feel that they are not walking into the police station or walking into CPS immediately thinking they're getting removed from their parents when there's no need in some circumstances, or afraid that maybe they are going to get in trouble if they're going to the police station and that anything that they may have done might get them in trouble. Well, we want to take that away from the kids. We want them to feel that this is a safe place for them to tell what's happened. And then after they share what has happened to them, we have an advocate that works with them alongside of the family. And we have a great relationship with community mental health. And through them, we are able to make sure that the children that come through Safe Harbor have immediate access to therapy. So we're able to connect them with CMH to at least begin a therapy process. If the families do not wish to go to CMH, we do have private providers who have also connected with us. We're very specific about the type of therapy that we ask for our children, and that is trauma-focused cognitive behavior therapy or another identified trauma model, so that we know that the children that we are referring out have access to the type of therapy that they need for their healing. And then we walk alongside of them while they're in the court process. So we continue to advocate with them as they are getting ready to potentially testify in court, and work very closely with the prosecutor's office so that we know when the cases are coming up for court hearings and that we can help to prepare those families. We can't do our work without the team process, but it's what makes the Children's Advocacy Center so important and how it helps the children in Berry County. And we are so thankful to be a part of Berry County and to be able to serve the kids and have such great relationships with the other nonprofits in the community. So thank you for having me. And that's really all I have to say, unless you have any questions for me.
What about questions? Do we have questions for Lori? I do.
Okay.
In the beginning, I think you were talking about how many, you were giving some numbers, I think, about how many children had come through. Maybe, could you repeat that?
Sure. Sorry, that probably didn't get picked up. So when we first started, we opened our doors in December of 2013 there in Hastings. And since that time, we have seen over 1,000 children in the Berry community. We were surprised that we would see that number. We thought we would see about an average of 100 children. And really, every year that we've been there, we've seen over 120, except for in 2020. We still were providing those services, but we were looking at the urgency of the cases and if the kids were safe in their homes, whether or not we would interview those kids. But over 1,000 children that we've already seen.
Wow. And how many people work together? I know I've been in there, but how many? So you have, prosecutor, police, and with your staff, how many are focused on that particular child, on one child?
So we have our forensic interviewer and our victim advocate who are focusing on the child and the family during that process. Sometimes it's really explaining to the family, the parents, what's happening and what's the next steps. We also have law enforcement, child protective services, and the prosecuting attorney that are all in the building at the same time working with the families.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question, if I may. Hi,
Sure.
Tina from Berry County Cares. Hi, Lori. When you speak of children, I just, can you help me out here? Does that mean anyone under 18, or if they're still going to high school, they can still be included, or, yes?
So typically it is anyone under 18. However, we will look at the entire situation and determine if we are that best place. If they are still in high school, we will definitely consider being the location for that child. We also will work with cognitively delayed adults. If they operate on the level of a child, we want them to feel safe as well. So we do at least offer our initial service of the forensic interview for potential elder abuse or cognitively delayed adults.
That's great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Anybody else? Okay, well, thank you, Lori. Really appreciate your time. Really appreciate that. Okay, next we're going to hear from Janie Bergeron, the Executive Director of Green Gables Haven. Janie, this is interesting. Both of them joined in their role as in 2007. I just thought that was remarkable. And Janie came to Green Gables after serving as finance director at Pierce Cedar Creek Institute. Her passion and love for her work at Green Gables is evident, if any of you know Janie. And she's been overheard telling her board of directors that she won't leave willingly. They'll have to boot her out. She serves on the Berry Community Foundation Grant Committee, is a member of the Legacy of Hastings and St. Rose Church of Lima in Hastings. And Janie, welcome, and I'll turn it over to you.
Morning, everyone. So
Morning.
sorry, I was hoping to lighten up this room, but it's not going to happen. It's just going to be dark. So this is how I spend my winter, in the dark. It's really nice in the summer, though. So, and I'm thankful for the building. So yeah, 2007 was a great year, if you ask me, Lori. Hard to believe we've been here this long, though. It feels like just yesterday to me. So I'm looking at some of the names. Some of you know absolutely what we are and what we do, but I'll quickly go over kind of our program. So we're a 14-bed domestic violence shelter. We have in the past served homeless, but thankfully now that Family Promises joined this community, we're finding that we can really focus on the domestic violence victims, and Family Promises picked up that slack for the homeless. So we are so appreciative to have them in Berry County helping us make a difference for people in crisis. So talking about how many people we've served since we opened our doors April 1st, 2004, it's about 2,200, with nearly 900 of those being children. Ironically, the state of Michigan still doesn't understand that Berry County needs a shelter. And some of you may or may not have heard, but a large federal grant that we had been receiving since 2017 was taken away from us. And we're pretty positive it is political, because it was going along just fine. I had assurances that they want us to have this money, just find a way to spend it. And one particular individual who kept the funding from us for all these years was given the oversight of this federal grant. And suddenly we are the only shelter not funded. I've talked to Lori about this quite a bit. She's been very helpful and encouraging for me. So thank you, Lori. So it's we looked into it, and it appears that it's Green Gables Haven, the only shelter, a DART program in Grand Rapids, which is similar to victim services here in Berry County, without going into great detail, and 2 CASA programs, which I know irritates Lori terribly. So kind of a mystery, but we're going to do what Berry County does. We're going to go ahead and continue to take care of these victims. So going back to the shelters, a 14-bed shelter, it is just a house, for those of you that don't know. Very communal living. We try to keep families in their individual rooms, but sometimes we might have a single lady and we need a bed. And one of our rooms has 4 bedrooms, or 2 of our rooms have 4 beds, excuse me. There might be a single lady sleeping with a family. That's kind of just how it goes. But that is why we are unable to take boys under 14 or over 14. And as I'm sure you all can understand, the majority of us are parents, or at least aunts and uncles that understand that concept. So we're real careful, but we've been very fortunate over the years. The very few times we've had a mom that needed to come in with somebody of that age group, they've always had a friend that was willing to take them in. And it was for just a short period of time before we could help get them housed. So speaking of housing, we do work with United Way and all their housing programs. We just refer our clients over, and Angie over there kind of takes over and takes care of us. So we are appreciative of her. Trying to think of what else I could tell you guys. Our auction is coming up. We're going to try to do an in-person auction. Pretty excited about that. Even if we have to go back to wearing masks, I really hope we're able to do it. So that's February 12th. Anybody that's interested in that, please let us know. We can secure you a spot. And I guess our funding, what are we going to do? We're in the planning processes right now of doing an endowment campaign, which is how I started my career at Green Gables, right in the middle of the endowment campaign. So we're not doing that now for obvious reasons. We're all United Way agencies. Certainly, we're not going to try to rain on their parade, because they are important for all of us. And we happen to know of another capital campaign for another nonprofit that's trying to get started. So we're going to honor that. And you'll probably hear something in the spring or early summer about where we're at with that. Luckily, we've been very fiscally responsible, and we aren't going to close our doors next month. We do have enough money to get us through this planning endowment process. And then again, this generous community, I just get random checks in the mail. So it's absolutely amazing. And I'm so thankful. So lost my train of thought. I tend to ramble. For those of you that know me, you know that. Hi, Tim. I've missed you. Tim used to be on my board a long time ago, so I appreciate him. He really helped me learn my job when I was getting started. So I don't know, Linda, I don't know. Is there maybe some questions? Sometimes it's better for me, because I can just go over the basics. We've been open for all these years. And like I said, looking around the names, I think most of you know what we do and kind of where we're at. But I'm open to some questions if you have anything specific.
I just want to jump in here and add a little more detail. Green Gables is down a couple 100,000. It's not peanuts. And I know that everybody's trying to come together to help them. So keep that in mind as you see fundraisers or people that are looking for places to give money. Keep them in mind, seriously. They do great work over there. Anybody have questions? That even if you are familiar, you might have questions. Really, this is going to be a short community breakfast, folks.
Well, and I will say this, if you think of a question later, I'm very open. My email is simple, janie@greengableshaven.org. You can call the office, get a hold of me, and I can answer any questions you might have later. We are receiving a lot of questions right now. It's kind of exciting because it's people that really hadn't heard of us before or just learning about what we do, and they're reaching out, trying to find ways to help. So that's kind of cool. And again, I'm just so thankful to all of you in this little meeting. And I will tell you, I prefer in-person presentations. This is weird. I've never been nervous to talk, but this was really strange for me. Plus, with the pandemic, I've been getting to work about 8:30, so it was an early morning for me. My daughter drives now. I don't have to get up and get her to school. So, but it is good to be with all of you. It's fun to see some faces and some names on the screen. So thank you for being here.
Are there questions? I did, since we have a few people on here that may not have met Tim, I did want to let everybody know that we have a new family educator kinship coordinator, and that is Tim McMahon. Many of you know Tim, if you'll wave. Thank you. We're excited to have Tim. Bill and I are having a lot of fun picking on Tim. So stop in and see us. And I'm seeing chat from Mackenzie. She said, hi, Tim. Nicole, everybody's waving. So if we don't have any further questions, I will tell you that I'm going to be sending out a survey. It doesn't even take 2 minutes, really. Please respond. And we've started planning some of the topics for next year. Our next community breakfast is going to be, I hate to say it, February 16th of 2022 already. And the topic's going to be blue zones. But we have 4 of these breakfast meetings. Hopefully the next one will be in person. We have 4 a year. And if you have ideas for topics, please turn those in with your feedback. Okay. And looks like we could have had another presenter today. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Lori and Janie. Really appreciate it. And we'll see everybody later. Bye.